Good afternoon, everybody. I have an image of Muktananda up on my screen, and I was asked to do a reading on him, and it will be interesting to see what comes forward for him. So let's go ahead and get started with Muktananda's reading. Okay, so let's see. Time on this earth was one where he did go through a lot of cities, a lot of powers came. I need to let you know, though, the feeling is not really good around him right now. It's just the sense. It does feel heavy, but it's got a funny feeling. And, okay, so there was a lot of cities that came, different powers, different expressions, forms, manifestations of kundalini, of that serpent energy, did awaken for Muktananda. And, during his time, he did meet up with Nityananda, who gave him Shaktipat, which he felt really blasted through him and opened up these gates in his consciousness where these different manifestations of powers began to emerge. And this was a time where he felt he really spent some time. He wanted to be near Nityananda. He wanted to, and I'm just hearing live with him, be with him. And it's getting very heavy is the feeling. For Bhagavan Nityananda felt that Muktananda needed to move on because he felt Muktananda had too much coming from him in terms of phenomena. So he did, at least the feeling is, ask him to move forward. And I see this river. I see Muktananda. His form is very shady. It's very large. He is pointing in the direction of go to Muktananda. Go out. And at least my feeling is I don't feel like Nityananda at this point gave him all this direction to go do this and that. Let's see if this is true. So it is saying yes. So Nityananda's very large shadowy form is there with a finger pointing to Muktananda to just time to go. So, okay, and then there's a river there. The river looks pretty clear. It's blue. It's flowing. And Muktananda, left. He went forward, and and what I'm hearing, he closed something for himself at that point. Something closed off. As he journeyed forward, this river, I can see it gets, there's light, there's sparkly light, and okay, so he's journeying within it. I see him kind of moving with his feet in there, like the water's moving. He's sort of trudging along. As he's going, though, some murkiness is emerging for Muktananda, because his actions, much of his actions during his time in the ashram where he had so much power, were not in alignment with Christ. They were not in alignment with one that would say they are completely still. It was unethical. It was taking advantage of those that were in weaker positions or in positions where they looked up to him, were open to him. And what I'm feeling and hearing and seeing, just the overall feel is there was sexual abuse there committed by him. So, not a good feeling. And again, that river towards the end when this ashram and he becomes in power more, you can see the pendulum's really moving as a big yes. He explored different avenues that were not right, not within, in alignment with scripture, not in alignment with one that could say that they were in moksha. Okay, so this came early, at least in the reading, just that feeling. And I think that's a feeling I have sort of doing this reading. It's just kind of, something's really off here. Okay, so that river was darkened by that. There is some sparkly light in the center, but it was darkened by Muktananda's actions, and he took with his own hand a lot of justification that went on, a lot of covering over that went on. Okay, so this is very heavy. It was a very large part of his life, of his choices. He continued to go in that direction. Okay. So, so he did close a chapter when he left Nityananda, Bhagavan Nityananda, who was still and within moksha, within that non-dual state. So in terms of Muktananda, let's see if he was balanced in there. Okay, no, one can see this jagged line. He wasn't balanced. You know, they're cutting like scissors. He did do some harm to others with his choices, with his actions. So there's, you know, it's not balanced at all. It's really, as one can see, just going back and forth like a windshield wiper, you know. No. And with the kundalini, so he definitely had that in him. That was moving through him. You know, people can have these kinds of things, and yet whatever they give, I mean, if they're not in balance, it can still you know, it's not going to carry that same weight. It won't have the longevity. If there is some very explosive experiences, it will be more momentary. It won't be lasting as much, because the ground of this guru does not have the strong foundation of ethics, of honesty and being a trustworthy man, and living up to, you know, the respecting the role of power that people placed him within. Okay, so whatever he gave, it was explosive, some explosive energies for people. You could see that there's a lot of Shakti in it. The Shakti does not feel balanced to me. Is it balanced? No. So people may do a lot of shaking, crying, feel like something was awakened in them, you know, but in terms of it, like I say, really lasting for them, really bringing them into the depths and continuing forward, it can, you know, it hasn't done that. Hasn't done that for those that were in this connection. See if this is true. Okay, it does say yes. Did some continue to go forward and feel the whatever energy or blessings, if you want to call it that, that Muktananda gave to them? Did they continue to feel it? Okay, so it's lopsided. One can see the pendulums it's skewed. You know, if indeed they did feel it, there would be a confusion in there. A lot that would go on that just would not keep it balanced. And this kundalini is very powerful. And with this energy, with this snake dance, and people feel it, you know, they're going to feel these very different than maybe what their norm is. It doesn't mean it's going to bring them to mauna or stillness. It just means it's kind of, you know, they're feeling that energy, that electric energy around them. You know, that can be very momentary. It can last a little while. But again, it's not going to bring one to, without that connection to a guru that has really completed truly, and, you know, it has mastered those energies, has calmed the mind, has quieted the mind, has stilled the mind, is within the source in that way, and also flowing with the natural laws of the universe. One, you know, can only have more momentary explosive experiences. You know, people love that. But really one that's going to complete, they really have to keep going very steady within themselves through the ups and downs. Stay one pointed within whatever practices are bringing them, are nourishing them. You know, this is more kind of grabbing onto experiences, it feels like. There may have been some that were very devoted to him. You know, they were, and they kind of put the other aside, like something's kind of off, but, you know, still I'm feeling these changes and this energy, which happens so much with these large ashrams. So I'm just going to put the other aside that I'm hearing, and I act like I don't hear it. you know, it's just kind of not there, and, you know, whistle along and get what I can out of this. And, you know, a lot of it was, you know, in terms of the work, there was hardworking devotees there. You know, people give their life to this. They give their life to it. And so, you know, again, it's just something to look at with these large ashrams. Okay, so he did, you know, because if you look at Nityananda, he didn't have this large ashram around him. He was, you know, wanderer in some ways. He was a deep mystic man, even though, you know, sometimes he seemed kind of off in the ways that he behaved. It was due to a different energy that was there. He was very much a master of his destiny, of the energies, quiet within. He didn't, you know, go out and create this kind of system, I guess, of a place where people could come and have all these rules and regulations where he was the one in power. Okay, did this happen with him? No. So, you know, a lot of gurus that are sincere, you just don't see this kind of thing happening overall. So, you know, he took advantage. He had his fingers in a lot of the pies, you know, because I'm going to get what I can get. Is this how he felt? I'm going to just get what I can get. I'm going to take what I can take, because look at me. They elevated me here. Is this correct? Yes. Sadly, okay, and even without him, really, was he feeling like he was complete inside? Okay, no. So he, you know, even though he would speak like he was, okay, so he felt like, though, that he was a master. In that way, but, you know, he knew that his mind was running. See, of course, I mean, you can't miss that, right? So, okay, so I see the snake here. It's there. It's an emerald green, emerald green with its tongue out, lashing. Let's see what else we get, okay? So the pendulum is getting more floaty as we see this snake. And without, what's the word, without ethics, or I guess credentials to be a guru. Okay, that's what this pendulum, the feeling is, without those things, without looking inward to really see what his flaws are, what his ways of behaving are. He didn't look in that way. Okay, and so for that reason, it really does create imbalance, and a way that comes out that is not going to really bring those around him to be completely still, to be calm, to be settled. Okay. See what else. So, life of Muktananda. Man does not have the let's see, the workings in him to is to have clarity or to be clear. So, you know, whatever workings were in there were not clear. Okay, though he did come off with some energies of power and force, he's just not what one would call a saint, a master. And okay, so now as we see, the pendulum has gone down and created episodes of you know, I just again see that shaking and things, episodic energies that erupted is what he created within his energy field. They were episodic, so they, you know, again, did not have longevity. They were turbulent with the energy that came out, like electricity. Okay, it's like electricity really is what moved it. Okay, but this wire, this electric this electric energy was not plugged in right to the right source, was it? So no, it was not. So it's going to come out kind of, you know, all over and not in a smooth flow. Okay, very different feeling too with him that I'm getting. It just is not a really good feeling. You know, I can only tell you what the feeling is. And I know sometimes, or many times, this bursts people's bubble about, you know, they may be very attracted to a guru or think they're saying all these great things. They've got the look. Oh, well, they had an ashram. They were elevated that way. But, you know, really, it doesn't matter. I mean, you really, when you look at the heart of it, look at their actions. Look deeper, please, because that matters. That affects the energy flow if it's not in alignment with grace, with God, with the natural laws. For him, it was not. Okay, I don't care what the outer appearance is. It just wasn't there. So, okay, so let's see if there's anything else for him. So it's saying no. So let's see where his consciousness is residing now. Okay, again, we see this static. Okay, static. Without moorings, without a way to find inner happiness. Okay, death was, why am I feeling immediate? But upon that release, there was this sort of blindness is what's being felt, a blindness to himself, which is a lot of what happened in life. You know, I see one that may have blindfolds on. They just were not looking within. And so he's just left kind of, I see this body in darkness and really kind of just floating there. And there is light there, but Muktananda, is he present to that light? So, you know, it's there, but yet, you know, he does feel it a bit. He would like for it to come in, it feels like. He would like for his sins to be washed clean. This is what I'm feeling. He would like that, and let's see if it will eventually happen for him. Okay, so time. A lot of time to wash this clean and to purify whatever actions were there, whatever karmic actions and lessons and repercussions came from this. So let's see if his heart's open to that. So there is some, and this is good news for him. So let's hope that he keeps his heart open to that and allows this cleansing to happen. So let's see if there's anything else. Okay, not really for him. Anyway, I hope those tuning in have gotten something from this, and I appreciate you asking. And now there's a couple more interesting ones I have waiting that I was going to try to do. Thank you for tuning in. Bye-bye now.